Welcome to latest News Blast. The music world stood still this week as an emotional wave swept through fans, friends, and loved ones after country music star Miranda Lambert's final words to her former love, Blake Shelton, were revealed. It wasn't just a moment of heartbreak, it was a raw, soul-shaking confession that left millions in tears. Sources close to the couple shared that Blake, who has been battling an undisclosed health condition for months, had grown weaker in recent days, sparking deep concern among his family and closest friends. When Miranda learned of his condition, she reportedly rushed to the hospital, her hands trembling, eyes swollen with tears, and her heart pounding with emotions she had tried to bury for years. Those who were present said the air in that quiet hospital room felt heavy, the kind of silence that only comes when two souls who once loved deeply meet again under tragic circumstances. Blake looked fragile, yet he managed a weak smile when he saw Miranda enter. She stood there for a long moment, unable to speak, watching the man who had once been her entire world, now lying helpless before her. When she finally spoke, her voice cracked like a broken string on a guitar, soft but full of pain. "You were my home, Blake. No matter how far we drifted apart, a part of me always stayed with you." Those words, witnesses say, were like a dagger to every heart in that room. Fans around the world have followed the story of Blake and Miranda since the beginning, two country superstars whose love story had become almost legendary. Their marriage, filled with laughter, music, and undeniable chemistry, was once seen as one of the most beautiful unions in Nashville. But fame, distance, and personal struggles led to their separation years ago. Even then, the emotional bond between them never truly faded. Blake went on to find love again with Gwen Stefani, but those who truly knew him claimed that a part of his heart always carried Miranda's memory, a silent ache he never spoke about. Now, with Blake's declining health making headlines, Miranda's emotional visit reopened old wounds not only for her, but for millions of fans who had never stopped hoping for their reunion. Insiders revealed that before her visit, Miranda had been writing songs in private, songs about loss, regret, and the kind of love that time can't erase. She never truly moved on, a close friend shared. Miranda still writes about him. She still feels him in every song she sings. When she sat beside Blake's hospital bed, her tears fell silently onto his hand. He whispered something back, words too quiet for the cameras or the people around them to hear. But Miranda's reaction said everything. She covered her mouth, shook her head, and broke down completely. "Please don't say that," she reportedly told him, her voice trembling. "You're going to be fine, you have to be." But Blake, ever the gentle soul, simply smiled and said, "I just wanted to tell you, thank you for loving me when I didn't even love myself." Those words shattered her completely. She leaned in, holding his hand tighter, whispering prayers, apologies, and memories, every unspoken feeling pouring out after years of silence. She told him that despite everything that happened between them, she never stopped caring, never stopped praying for him, and never stopped wishing she could turn back time. "If I could sing you one last song," she said, "it would be about us. Not the pain, not the goodbye, just the love that never died." The hospital staff who witnessed the scene described it as one of the most emotional moments they had ever seen. You could feel the history between them, one nurse shared. It wasn't just two people talking, it was two hearts saying everything they couldn't say before. Miranda reportedly stayed by Blake's side for several hours, refusing to leave even when doctors suggested he needed rest. At one point she began softly humming a song she had written years ago, one that fans later identified as "Over You," the same song she once said was inspired by loss and love that lingers forever. Blake's eyes filled with tears as he listened, his fingers gently tapping along to the rhythm on the bedsheet. It was a moment frozen in time, a quiet goodbye wrapped in melody and memory. After leaving the hospital, Miranda was seen wiping her tears as she got into her car. Cameras caught her whispering something under her breath, something that fans later tried to lip-read. Many believe she said, "I'll always love you, Blake." That clip went viral instantly, breaking hearts across social media. Fans flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram with messages like "I can't stop crying" and "Their story will always be the saddest love song ever written." Even Gwen Stefani, who has stood by Blake's side through his health struggles, is said to have been deeply moved by Miranda's visit, reportedly telling a close friend that she admired Miranda's strength and compassion. Back in Nashville, friends say Miranda has been keeping to herself. She hasn't made any public appearances or interviews since that day. Instead, she's been spending her time at her ranch, surrounded by her animals, writing music in solitude. One of her producers revealed that she recently recorded a track so emotional that everyone in the studio ended up in tears. The song, according to insiders, begins with the line, "If I could see you one last time, I'd tell you I still believe in us." Many are calling it her goodbye letter to Blake, a final musical expression of everything left unsaid between them. Meanwhile, Blake's team has kept updates about his condition private, but fans are still hoping for recovery. The country singer's representatives have only released a short statement saying, "Blake is surrounded by love and positivity, he's fighting hard, and the support from fans means everything." Even though they didn't mention Miranda by name, those close to Blake believe that her visit gave him a new wave of emotional strength, a reminder of the past that once gave him purpose. As the story continues to unfold, the music community has united in prayer and love for both of them. Country stars from all over Nashville, including Luke Bryan, Reba McEntire, and Carrie Underwood, have shared emotional posts supporting Blake and praising Miranda's compassion. Fans say that regardless of what happens next, the scene between them at the hospital will be remembered forever as one of the most heartbreaking yet beautiful moments in country music history. It was not just about two people. It was about love, forgiveness, and the kind of connection that outlives fame, success, and even time itself. In a recent emotional Instagram post, Miranda shared a photo of a sunset over her Texas farm with a simple caption, "Some goodbyes never end." Fans immediately flooded the comments with words of comfort, saying they knew she was talking about Blake. Many believe her next album will be deeply personal, filled with reflections of this moment and her journey through heartbreak and healing. She's processing everything through her music, one insider revealed. That's how Miranda heals. She writes her soul into her songs. As days pass, fans continue to hope for a miracle, that Blake will recover and perhaps even reach out publicly to Miranda to thank her once more. But even if that day never comes, the world has already witnessed something rare. Two hearts once torn apart by time and fame, finding peace in each other's presence one last time. It's a story that feels straight out of a country ballad, tragic, beautiful, and unforgettable. And now, as silence settles again over Nashville, people can't stop replaying that moment. Miranda's trembling voice, Blake's soft smile, the gentle hum of a love that refused to die. It's proof that real love doesn't always end in forever. Sometimes, it ends in one final goodbye that echoes louder than any song. In the days following that emotional hospital visit, the silence between Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton spoke louder than any words could. Reporters gathered outside the facility, hoping for a glimpse, a quote, a sign of hope. But both artists remained quiet, wrapped in the kind of pain that only two people who once shared a soul-deep love could understand. Sources revealed that Miranda sent a handwritten letter to Blake after their meeting, leaving it with one of his close aides. That letter, according to insiders, wasn't about regret or sadness. It was full of gratitude and love. She thanked him for teaching her how to love fearlessly, one insider shared, and she told him that no matter how many miles or years had passed, she'd always carry his voice inside her heart. Fans who heard about the letter began posting messages online with the hashtag #AlwaysBlake and Miranda, turning the story into a worldwide trending topic. Many said it felt like the end of an era, the closing chapter of one of country music's most beautiful yet heartbreaking love stories. Miranda, who has always worn her emotions on her sleeve, was seen performing a small private concert for charity a few days later. Those who attended said she seemed distant, her eyes glassy, her voice breaking during one particular song. Midway through her performance of The House That Built Me, she paused for a long moment, wiping her tears and whispering softly into the microphone, "This one's for someone who taught me how to be brave." The crowd fell silent. No one needed her to explain. Everyone knew exactly who she meant. The clip spread across social media like wildfire, drawing millions of views and comments from fans saying they'd never seen her so vulnerable. Even Blake's team reportedly saw the video and played it for him in his hospital room. One nurse said Blake listened quietly, tears forming in his eyes before whispering, "She still sings like an angel." That simple sentence, carried by someone who overheard it, melted hearts online. It was as if their love, broken, complicated, but still pure, had transcended all boundaries. Meanwhile, friends close to both of them revealed that Blake had been keeping a small box of memories from his time with Miranda. Old photos, handwritten notes, and even a guitar pick she once gave him before a concert years ago. "He never threw anything away," one of his longtime crew members said. He said those were reminders of a time when everything was simple, before fame, before pressure, when it was just about love and music. Fans began to share collages and tribute videos, pairing their old photos with emotional songs and captions like, "Some love stories never really end." It became one of the most touching fan movements in recent country music history. Days later, an insider from the hospital confirmed that Blake's condition had stabilized slightly, not fully recovered, but improving enough for brief conversations and smiles. When reporters asked Miranda about it during a quick airport sighting, she didn't say much.